Heartwarming revelation, a single mother's incredible journey to expose the billionaire father of her son. The sun dipped low over Winfield, casting long shadows over the once bustling main street, a graveyard of closed shops and forgotten aspirations. For Lisa, a dedicated single mother in her mid-30s, each day began with the crack of dawn breaking through the bedroom curtains. She rose with a heavy heart but an unwavering spirit, a constant reminder of the little boy sleeping soundly just down the hall. With bills stacked high and dreams deferred, she toggled between multiple jobs, waitressing at the diner and cleaning offices to keep their heads above water. Charlie, her 10-year-old son, was a whirlwind of energy and imagination. He dreamed not just in his sleep but through every waking moment. He wanted to be an inventor, a dreamer who changed the world. Lisa basked in the warmth of his laughter, believing fiercely in the values she instilled in him: hard work, integrity, and the notion that true success is measured by your heart, not your wallet. On an ordinary Tuesday, Lisa took a rare moment to unwind with friends at the local diner. Laughter echoed around their small table, a welcome relief from the weight of their struggles. But as life often does, it threw her a curveball when Charlie stumbled upon a dusty old newspaper clipping tucked under a stack of condiment bottles. The headline screamed, "Local boy becomes tech tycoon," and as his eyes skimmed over the faded words, a monumental truth slapped Lisa in the face: Tom Daniels, the billionaire father Charlie never knew, was just a town over. A storm brewed inside her, shaking the foundation of her world. For Charlie, it ignited awe and wonder: a father with a fortune. For Lisa, it sparked myriad emotions colliding: hopes, fears, and a niggling guilt washed over her. Would seeking Tom's help betray everything she stood for? Their lives were hard, but they'd survived fine on their own. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. As Lisa wrestled with this newfound reality, news spread in whispers through the community of rising floodwaters threatening their homes. Houses that once held the laughter of families now stood precariously at the edge of despair. Without thinking, Lisa rallied her neighbors, organizing aid, pulling together every scrap of courage she had. It wasn't just about them anymore, it was their town, their community, their family. When Tom caught wind of the disaster his hometown faced, he returned like a ghost from the past. Charlie's heart raced. Here was the man who held the keys to half of his identity. Would his mother reveal who Tom was, or would they walk the fine line of secrecy a little longer? The floodwaters began to recede, but the tension between Lisa and Tom rose higher than ever, the tattered threads of the past pulling painfully tight. Would they rise to meet the tides of change, or would the chasms that separated them drown them both? Every crack of thunder mirrored the turmoil that ignited within, as hope flickered in the wake of uncertainty. Charlie looked at both adults, yearning for answers to questions yet unasked, and the storm of fate waited, ready to crash in. The wind howled through the trees, mingling with the remnants of the rain, an eerie backdrop for the scene unfolding in Lisa's living room. The tension hung thick in the air, a palpable force as Charlie stared at Tom, his brown eyes wide with a mix of excitement and confusion. Lisa stood near the doorway, arms crossed tightly over her chest, unable to shake the apprehension that clenched at her heart. Questions filled the space between them, questions she feared to voice, yet knew they needed answers. Could she really trust this man who had been a stranger for 10 years? Who was he now? Tom shifted his weight, glancing between mother and son. He looked older than the newspaper clipping had suggested, the weight of success carved into his features, yet there was an earnestness in his expression that tugged at Lisa's resolve. "I heard about the flood," he finally spoke, breaking the silence. "I thought of reaching out, helping. I just didn't know how. I want to help, Lisa." A rush of emotions swelled within her. Anger flickered, battling against the drowning sensation of hope. And what? Just show up after all these years? After leaving us to fend for ourselves? Her voice shook, not just with anger, but with grief for the time lost, not just for herself, but for Charlie. No, Tom replied, pain flashing across his face. I know I can't change the past. But I want to be here for him. For both of you. He took a step closer, eyes pleading. I want to make amends. I want to be a part of Charlie's life if he'll let me. Charlie stood frozen, caught in the whirlwind of emotions spiraling around him. He had wanted a father, a guide to help him navigate life, but now, standing face to face with his past, everything felt wrong and right at once. Mom, can we? He began, voice small yet hopeful. Charlie. Lisa interjected, fear washing over her. This is not something you can just. I can't ignore him. He shot back, the courage of his 10 years pushing through. He's here. He's right here. The fight melted from Lisa's heart, replaced by the realization that Charlie needed this. Maybe they both did. This was a chance to rewrite their story, to reclaim what they thought was lost. But would it come at a cost? How could she open that door and still protect her son from the potential heartache? Tom's gaze remained on Charlie, and in that moment, time seemed to pause as the weight of eternity settled in the room. She could see the yearning in her son's eyes, an unspoken wish to connect. But could she allow it? Could she stand by and watch them bond while she felt so lost? Charlie, she whispered, her heart aching with a familiar tug of duty and love. I just don't want you to get hurt. I know, Mom, he replied softly. But what if he's not what you think? What if he can actually help us? Help you? Lisa's mind raced. What if Charlie was right? What if Tom could bring fulfillment to their lives but also a reality fraught with complications? Would she be opening a Pandora's box of emotions and expectations? For a heartbeat, she saw the future unfold before her, a path riddled with uncertainty and possibility. She knew she was at a crossroad, torn between protecting the love they had built and the thrill of something new, something that could change everything. With renewed clarity, she looked at Tom, her resolve hardening. Let us see where this can lead, but know this, I will protect Charlie with everything I have. Tom nodded, understanding the weight of her words, and in doing so, the first cracks of hope began to break through the walls of their long-shuttered hearts. What had begun as a confrontation now held the promise of reconciliation. As they stood at the precipice of a new beginning, the clouds outside began to part, letting light spill through and brightening their little home. But shadows loomed on the horizon. How would the community react to Tom's return? Would they embrace or shun him? And what about the truth about his past? For the first time in years, an uncertain but palpable sense of adventure tingled in the air, as if fate itself held its breath, waiting for the next move. In that moment of fragile hope, a single thought lingered unspoken: would seeking help from Tom truly mend their broken lives or lead them into deeper waters? Charlie's heart raced, a mix of excitement and fear swirling inside him as he looked up at Tom. It felt unreal, this man he'd only ever seen in faded photographs and grainy newspaper articles, now standing before him, saying he wanted to be part of his life. Was this truly his father? Where have you been? Charlie's voice trembled as he stepped forward, crossing the invisible line that had separated them for so long. Why are you here now? Tom's face tightened, a flicker of shame overshadowing his eyes. I can't explain it all right now, he said, his voice low. But I realized how wrong I was for leaving you both, and I want to change that. I want to be here for you, Charlie. Lisa shifted, feeling a mixture of protectiveness and a strange yearning for her son's happiness. You can't just waltz in here like this, Tom, she said, anger creeping back into her tone. You don't get to just play father after all this time. It doesn't work like that. Mom, please, Charlie interrupted. Just listen to him. Tom raised his hands, his expression pleading. I understand, Lisa. I know I've caused immense hurt. I'm not asking for forgiveness right away. Just a chance to show you both that I can be better. The rain had almost stopped now, outside, the dripping echoes intermingling with the heaviness in the room. Lisa lifted her chin, trying to align her heart with her instincts, but it felt like the ground was shifting beneath her feet. You think an apology fixes everything? No, I don't, Tom replied, brow furrowing. But being present is the first step. He looked at Charlie, suddenly hopeful. And I don't want my past mistakes to define our future. What do you say, buddy? Can I try? Charlie glanced at his mother, and he could see the distress in her eyes mirrored in his own uncertainty. Yet there was something beautiful forming in this moment, a possibility where broken connections might be mended. Can I just talk to him alone for a second? Lisa hesitated, fear clenching at her heart once more. Charlie, please, Mom. I just want to hear him out. With a heavy sigh, she nodded. All right, I'll be right outside. As she stepped into the kitchen, the door closed softly behind her, leaving the two men in the quiet of the living room. Charlie faced Tom, searching for signs of the father he'd always imagined. Why didn't you come back sooner? He asked, his voice softening. Life's been hard without you. I know it has, Tom admitted, looking down. I can't take back where I was, but I want to be a part of your life. I've missed so much. I have so much to learn about you, and I'm willing to start now. Charlie felt a wave of conflicting emotions. This feels so strange. I've thought about this moment for so long, but I'm scared too. What if you leave again? I won't, Tom responded firmly. I promise. I won't walk away again. I'm here for the long haul. Just then, the kitchen door creaked open slightly. Lisa stood listening, her heart pounding as she heard the conversation, hidden yet vulnerable. She wanted Charlie to find happiness, she did. But could she trust Tom to keep his word? You look so much like him, Tom said suddenly, breaking into a smile that reminded Charlie of a sunny day. I've missed seeing that little smile in person. Charlie chuckled, then hesitated. You really want to be here for me? More than anything. Just give me this chance. As the wind howled again outside, a sense of openness washed over Charlie. For the first time, he grasped the possibility that maybe, just maybe, he could have a father after all. But how much would Lisa be willing to compromise for their happiness? What secrets from Tom's past still lay buried, threatening their delicate world? With each heartbeat, Charlie felt the air shift, charged with hope but also uncertainty. Could this really be the start of something new, or was it just another fleeting moment on a path of disappointment? Charlie took a deep breath, the weight of his father's words settling like stones in his chest. He wanted to reach for hope, but the past loomed large, casting shadows over this fragile moment. What are you expecting from us? I mean, from me? He asked, his voice trembling with vulnerability. Tom paused, searching for the right words. I'm expecting nothing more than simply being here with you. I don't want to rush things. It's not about fixing everything right away. It's about building something from the ground up. Charlie felt a strange flutter of disbelief. Then how do we start? He wondered aloud. Let us start with the little things, Tom suggested. Like getting to know each other again. Tell me about your life, your interests, your friends. His heart beat a little faster at the thought. I like baseball, he said, his voice gaining some strength. And I'm trying to figure out this whole high school thing. It's confusing. A soft smile crept onto Tom's face. Baseball, huh? I used to play a bit myself. Maybe I can come to one of your games. Charlie's eyes widened. You'd really do that? Absolutely. I want to support you if you'll let me. Outside, Lisa remained at the edge of the kitchen, eavesdropping, her emotions swirling in conflicting currents. She didn't want to believe Tom's change of heart. To her, the idea felt like a cruel joke. Yet here was her son, an innocent caught in this emotional tug-of-war. Her love for Charlie pulled her towards wanting him to experience everything and anything that could bring him happiness. As she listened, her thoughts flickered back to the last time she'd seen Tom. It had been a whirlwind spinning in and out of their lives, offering nothing but heartache. Yet, there was a part of her that recognized the earnestness in his voice now. She glanced down at her hands, the tension racking her body, unsure if she was ready to let him into their world again. Meanwhile, Tom leaned forward slightly, urging Charlie to continue. "What else do you like, Charlie?" "I'm into music too," he mumbled, his eyes shifting to the side as he grappled with the strange sensation of revealing both interests and vulnerabilities to the man who once abandoned him. "Been taking guitar lessons." Now it was Tom's turn to express genuine enthusiasm. "No way. That's awesome. Music is a powerful way to express yourself." The conversation flowed a little easier. Charlie found himself grinning despite the weight he still carried. "Yeah, it helps me relax. And I really want to get better. I'd love to hear you play sometime. I can bring my old guitar back, the one you used to play when you were little. It might need some tuning, but it's got a good sound." Charlie stepped back, the warmth of an unexpected smile forming on his lips. "You kept it?" "Of course. It's been waiting for you." Just then, Charlie's laughter faded, replaced by thoughts of uncertainty. "So, if we really do this, what happens if it all falls apart again?" This time, Tom's expression turned serious as he straightened, looking directly into Charlie's eyes. "Then we deal with it together. No more running. But first, we need to take this one step at a time." A flicker of hope danced in Charlie's heart, but doubt still lingered in the back of his mind. Just as he was about to respond, he heard Lisa shuffle inside the kitchen, preparing to step back into the fray. "Charlie, are you?" she began, cutting off as she noticed the tension in the air. Charlie glanced at Tom, the moment shifting again as he sensed the shadows of Lisa's protective instincts rising. Would she be ready to accept this, or would his desire for reconnection ignite a brand new conflict? And above all, what would happen when she finally confronted Tom again? The weight of the moment felt monumental, each heartbeat echoing loudly as the boundaries of their small world seemed to crack open under the pressure of old wounds and emerging dreams. Could they really thread together something worthwhile, or was this just the beginning of another storm waiting to break? Charlie felt the air in the kitchen thicken as Lisa's presence filled the space. She was like a tidal wave, ready to crash against this fragile moment. Her eyes darted from Tom to Charlie, gauging the emotional landscape, her heart pounding. "Are you okay?" Lisa finally managed to ask, her voice high-pitched and tight. She stepped closer, the protective shield of a mother clashing with her son's newfound hope. "What is going on here?" "Mom, we're just talking," Charlie replied, but the quiver in his voice betrayed his uncertainty. Tom chimed in, "I was just getting to know Charlie a bit more." "We were talking about what, exactly?" Lisa interrupted, her tone sharp. "What do you want from him this time, Tom?" It was as if a heavy hand clamped down on Charlie's chest, squeezing tight. He wished for peace, yet here they were, entangled in the chaos of emotions that had haunted them for years. He looked at Tom, searching for an answer. "Not what you think, Lisa," Tom said, his voice firm but calm. He leaned against the counter, steadying himself as if confronting an incoming storm. "I'm not here to cause pain. I want to reconnect, to support Charlie." "Support? You mean like you did before?" Lisa's words dripped with skepticism. "You left him. You've been gone what, 5 years?" "I know," Tom said softly, his eyes pleading. "And I can't change what happened. But I'm trying to step up now. I want to be here for him." The silence that followed was deafening. Charlie could feel the tension crackling in the air. He sensed his mother's worry but also the flicker of disbelief that mirrored his own. Part of him wanted to defend Tom, to grasp that thread of hope, while another part of him wanted to scream, to shield himself from heartache. "Charlie," Lisa said, her voice lowering. "You don't have to do this. You don't have to accept him just because he's back. We're fine. We've been fine." But Charlie hesitated. "What if I want this? What if I want to try?" Lisa's face shifted, a mix of surprise and worry washing over her. "You're too young to understand what this could mean." Charlie couldn't help but feel a surge of defiance. "Maybe you don't understand either. This is my chance." The heat in the room intensified, a churning mix of conflicting loyalties. Tom stood quietly, his expression pained but patient, while Lisa's eyes bore into Charlie with a fierce protectiveness. He felt torn, connected to both of them yet stranded in the middle of their confrontation. "Let's take a breath," Tom finally said, his voice steadying. "I want to be a part of Charlie's life. But I'm not asking you to trust me overnight, Lisa. I know I've made mistakes." "Then what do you want?" Lisa asked, an edge to her voice. "I want to show him that I can be different. I want him to see me trying to be there." Step by step Charlie watched the war play out in their eyes, his heart racing. It felt like a game of tug-of-war, and he was the rope. Would Tom's determination be enough to convince Lisa? Or would fear win, snagging Charlie back into the safety of what he knew? "I actually have a game this weekend," Charlie blurted out suddenly, breaking the tension. Maybe you can both come." "Charlie," Lisa started, worry creeping back into her tone. "Please." His voice softened, and he could feel the weight of his sincerity blanket the room. "I want to try." As the words hung in the air, Lisa glanced at Tom, her brow furrowing as she searched for answers. Could she set aside her fears long enough to allow him in? The air felt electric, and in that moment, as they stood together in the kitchen, something unpredictable stirred. Would this single game bring change, or would it deepen the rifts that had long existed? Tom met Charlie's hopeful gaze, but uncertainty flickered in his eyes too. And just like that, the fragile moment teetered on the edge of possibility, ready to either take flight or plunge into chaos. What would the weekend bring? Would it be the breakthrough they all hoped for, or a new twist in this already tangled tale? Tom cleared his throat, the weight of the moment pressing on him like lead. "I'd love to come to your game, Charlie. Really. I'll be there." His voice had an unusual tenderness, as if he were trying to thread a delicate needle with words. Charlie felt the tiniest flicker of joy spark inside him, but it was quickly overshadowed by the uncertainty that clouded Lisa's expression. She crossed her arms, the muscles in her jaw tightening. "And what? You'll just waltz back into his life? Play the supportive dad?" "It doesn't work that way, Tom." "Mom, please." Charlie's voice was rising, almost desperate. "I'm asking for a chance, just a chance. We can figure it out together." Lisa's eyes softened momentarily, revealing the fear that nested beneath her fierce protectiveness. "Charlie," she said softly, "I just don't want to see you hurt again." I want to make my own choices," Charlie interrupted, his own heart pounding. "You taught me that." The truth of those words hit like a gust of wind, creating a moment that paused time. Lisa looked at him, and in that shared silence, he could feel her love, the fierce, unconditional love that had shaped him, yet there was also a glimmer of realization, a flicker of understanding. "Fine," she said finally, though her voice was still laced with worry. "But if anything feels off, I want you to promise me that you'll tell me. No secrets, okay?" Charlie nodded, relief rushing through him. "I promise." Tom smiled, a small but genuine smile, and that simple gesture seemed to melt away some of the tension in the room. "I'll be there for you, buddy. You can count on it." His voice was more confident now, and Charlie realized, it was more than just words. Tom was committing to something real. The conversation shifted slowly, filling the kitchen with lighter topics: favorite foods, school classes, and upcoming games. As they talked, a tentative bond began to weave between them, each laugh easing the harsh lines of the past. Yet still, the undercurrents of uncertainty bubbled just beneath the surface, and Charlie felt them, probing and insisting they not be ignored. That evening, as he lay in bed, Charlie stared up at the ceiling, thoughts racing. His heart inexplicably swelled with hope, yet fear was a companion that wouldn't leave his side. What if Tom disappointed him again? What if Lisa found it impossible to trust? Could a single game really bridge the chasm that had grown between them? The next day arrived, filled with the excitement and anticipation of the big game. Charlie could hardly focus at school, and as afternoon approached, he felt knots of energy swirling in his stomach. Would they come? Would they both be there? At the park, the scent of fresh grass and the buzz of fellow kids filled the air. The sun hung bright, casting long shadows as spectators began to gather. Charlie spotted Lisa, standing near the bleachers, scanning the crowd. His heart raced. And then he saw Tom, on the other side, nervously waving, his smile wide but uncertain. Charlie took a deep breath, pushing through the crowd. The field was alive, and he could feel excitement pulse in his veins. He caught Lisa's eyes, they softened. Then he turned to Tom, whose expression mirrored the hope that lingered in Charlie's heart. As the whistle blew to signify the start of the game, Charlie felt the weight of their expectations on him. This was at the moment he had wished for, yet the stakes felt impossibly high. What if they didn't stay? What if this was just another false promise, another fleeting moment before the next storm? In the midst of the game, something surprising happened that would change everything. A twist awaited, leaning ready around the corner, but was anyone prepared for it? Charlie was off to a rocky start. He fumbled the ball almost instantly, his nerves getting the best of him as his mind raced with the weight of what was happening. His mom and dad were both there, watching him. The tension was palpable, suffocating even, crowd murmurs echoing in his ears. He felt pressure from every side. His teammates needed him to perform, his mom wanted to believe Tom was there for him, and Tom himself looked expectantly, his pride and hope blending into a complicated mixture of emotions Charlie had never seen before. Taking a deep breath, he shook off the nerves. He needed to focus on why this moment was important. He glanced to the stands, catching a glimpse of Lisa's face, her hands clasped together as if she were offering a silent prayer. Tom, too, was searching for his son with eager eyes, like a lighthouse guiding him through a storm. As the game continued, Charlie found his rhythm. The field lit up in front of him, and suddenly, it wasn't just about the spectators watching. It was about the game, the thrill and excitement that had once driven him to play. He darted past opponents, reeled in passes, and every move felt like a small victory in itself. With each sprint down the field, he glanced over to see Lisa clapping, her smile growing wider, and Tom nodding encouragingly, a mix of affirmation and surprise dancing on his lips. Just as Charlie felt the intoxicating rush of near victory, a player from the opposing team collided with him, sending him tumbling to the ground. The wind knocked out of him, he breathed heavily, legs splayed out under the vivid sky. The whistle blew sharply, and the world blurred momentarily. Then, like a wave washing over the shore, Charlie's thoughts spun back to the stands. Would Tom still be there? Would he worry? The thought jolted him back as he sprang up, shoving away the sting of pain. He had no time to second-guess himself now. He shot back to the sidelines where Tom was kneeling, eyes wide with concern. "You all right, Charlie?" he yelled, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Yeah," Charlie called back, adrenaline surging. Excitement mingled with relief as he heard Tom's voice, no longer just a distant sound, but a physical presence he could lean on. The game continued, and as the final minutes approached, everything seemed to align perfectly. With the scores tied and only seconds left on the clock, Charlie found himself with the ball again. This time, he glanced over at Tom and Lisa, both standing up, both filled with belief. A flicker of courage ignited within him. He sprinted, weaving past defenders, heart pounding in time with their cheers. All the doubt melted away, the fear, the uncertainty. This was his moment. In one heartbeat, Charlie launched the ball toward the end zone. It soared high through the air, the perfect throw. He held his breath as it seemed to hang in time. Then, a hand stretched out, grasping the ball firmly. He had done it. Touchdown. The roar of the crowd was deafening. He could barely comprehend it, standing frozen for a second before every emotion crashed over him like an ocean wave: joy, relief, hope. He found Lisa first, her eyes gleaming with pride, and then Tom, his expression radiating something Charlie hadn't expected: pure admiration. As he jogged off the field, Charlie felt the warmth of the moment envelop him. He had wanted to please them, but what he didn't know was that this single moment, the touchdown, the game, had stirred something deeper. In the rush of celebration, a shadow loomed just before him, a figure pushing through the crowd. Charlie turned, his heart suddenly heavy, as he faced someone he never wanted to see again. What would this encounter mean for everything he had just built? The game may have ended, but for Charlie, another challenge loomed on the horizon, one that threatened to unravel everything good from the day. Charlie's heart raced as he stared into the face of the unexpected figure before him. It was Derek, a boy from his past, his old friend turned adversary, the one who had once made Charlie's life unbearable back in middle school. The years had changed him, molded him into someone who could just as easily befriend or belittle. Charlie felt the heat rise to his cheeks, a mix of anger and confusion. "Nice game, Charlie," Derek said, a smirk playing on his lips that chilled Charlie to the bone. "Didn't he expect you to actually score?" Charlie caught his breath. He had wished for this interaction to fade into oblivion, but here it was, pulling him into a tangled web of memories he had long since buried. Despite the cheers still echoing in his ears, a darkness crept in. "What are you doing here, Derek?" Charlie's voice wavered slightly, anger giving way to uncertainty. Derek stepped closer, almost invading his space. "Just came to see my old buddy. Heard you made a little comeback. Didn't he think you had it in you?" The mockery danced through his words like poison. Charlie felt like a hard-won touchdown was at stake. Nothing mattered more than the validation he sought through performance, and yet it seemed the victory was now overshadowed by this unexpected confrontation. "Get lost," he said, his voice firmer than he felt. More than anything, he wanted to turn his back on Derek, to rush back to the warmth of his family and friends who were proud of him. But Derek had that power over him, the ability to twist the moment. "What do you want?" Derek shrugged, the corner of his mouth curling. "Just wanted to congratulate you on your little game. Touchdowns are great, Charlie. But in the end, does it really matter?" Charlie's pulse quickened. "Why are you here?" he repeated, the urgency rising in his tone. It wasn't just about the game anymore, it was about standing his ground. "I'm just saying, maybe there are bigger things to worry about. You know, like being on the team or having a real future. What are you going to do next? Try to be a star? You think playing football will get you far?" Each word felt like a blow. The world around him faded a little more with every taunt. Charlie's mind raced. He thought of Tom, watching with pride. He thought of Lisa, whose eyes sparkled with hope. Those moments meant something to him. They transcended the game. "I'm carving my path, just like everyone else. I don't need you to dictate what my success looks like," he replied, determination setting in. Derek chuckled, but a flicker of annoyance crossed his face. "All right then, champ. Good luck keeping that dream alive." As he turned to walk away, Charlie felt a mixture of relief and residual anger. But just as he reconsidered what it meant to stand tall, he spotted Lisa and Tom threading through the crowd towards him. Lisa's face vibrated with joy, her arms wide open. "Charlie! That was amazing. I'm so proud of you," she exclaimed, her laughter bubbling over with elation. Tom joined in, beaming like a proud father amid the storm of emotions. "You were incredible, Charlie. That throw, wow." Yet a piece of Charlie's heart still ached, nagging at him like a loose thread. "Thanks, guys," he said, trying to not let the earlier confrontation cast a shadow on their celebration. But how could it not? The words hung in the air, a lingering question that echoed in his mind. What did success really mean? Lucy's warmth enveloped him, grounding him back in the moment, but a chill crept around his heart at the possibilities. He didn't want to entertain those thoughts, but Derek's voice, dripping with cynicism, replayed in his head. The joyful chorus faded as something darker loomed, revealing an inner conflict that threatened to overshadow his hard-won victory. As they celebrated, Charlie caught a glimpse of Derek watching from afar, a silent observer of his fragile joy. In that instant, Charlie understood he was walking a tightrope between happiness and fear, victory and doubt. This could be just the beginning of his real journey, and now, it was all up to him to define it. What did it mean to really soar, and would he find the strength to rise above the voices trying to pull him back down? With that thought lingering, Charlie took a deep breath. The next challenge awaited him, one he never anticipated facing. Would he rise to meet it? The cheers from the crowd faded into the background as Charlie felt a familiar weight in his chest. He smiled at Lisa and Tom, but the nagging voice from Derek loomed large in his mind. Lisa's excitement was palpable, her joy like a beacon, but it couldn't fully drown out the doubt Derek had planted. "So, what's next for you?" Tom asked, his eyes sparkling with admiration. "You've got to keep this momentum going. College scouts are already paying attention." "Yeah. You could be the star of the team." Lisa chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious yet tinged with the reminder of Derek's taunts. Charlie's mind raced. He dared not dampen their spirits with his turbulent emotions. "I'm just trying to enjoy the moment," he replied, forcing a smile. But in truth, he was overwhelmed. The highs of victory clashed violently with the fears that were rising inside him like a tide. As the trio began to walk toward the gathering crowd, Charlie's thoughts were hijacked by Derek's words. He pictured his future. Was it filled with the thrill of victory, or was he destined for the cycle of doubt and scorn that Derek had wrapped around him so tightly? Would he be able to break free, or would he fall back into old patterns? "Let's take a picture," Lisa said suddenly, pulling out her phone. "This needs to be documented. Everyone has to see how amazing you are." Charlie stood still, a brief smile frozen on his face as Tom and Lisa posed with him. He felt like a ghost in the picture, a shadow of the confidence everyone saw. The snap of Lisa's phone camera echoed in his mind, further deepening his internal struggle. "Ready? 1, 2, 3. Click." As the camera flashed, something in Charlie shifted. For a fleeting moment, he let himself bask in the love and pride radiating from his friends. They wanted the best for him. But then the weight of doubt crashed back down. Were they blind to the truth? Was he just a flash in the pan, a name to be forgotten tomorrow, fading from glory like he'd done so many times before? "Let's get some food. It's time to celebrate," Tom suggested, sensing the mixed emotions swirling in Charlie. "Yeah." Lisa agreed enthusiastically. Charlie nodded, though his stomach felt heavy with the uneasiness that had settled in. He walked alongside his friends, laughter and celebration swirling around him, yet he couldn't fully engage. Every cheer and smile felt like a reminder of the possibility that it could all come crashing down. The relentless voice inside echoed, gnawing at his successes. And then he saw Derek again, lurking at the edge of the crowd like a storm cloud. He was laughing with a group of older kids, casting sly glances in Charlie's direction. Instinctively, Charlie's heart picked up its pace. It was as if Derek's presence, even so far away, had the ability to puncture the joy surrounding him. "Charlie. You okay?" Lisa nudged him gently, her concern breaking through his daze. Yeah. He forced a smile but felt hollow. He didn't want to worry her or Tom, but the truth was there Derek's shadow loomed over him, threatening to taint everything he had worked for. They settled at a picnic table, plates of food piled high. Lisa chatted about upcoming plans, while Tom initiated a playful debate about the best quarterbacks in history. Charlie nodded along, but inside, the questions were loud. What if he didn't have what it took? What if Derek was right? As he bit into his burger, Charlie's thoughts slipped back to the field, the adrenaline, the rush. But there, under the surface, lay the creeping fear that he'd never find his way. He pushed the food around his plate, trying to focus on his friends, but he couldn't shake the unease. What is going on in that head of yours? Tom asked, noticing the shift in Charlie's demeanor. Charlie opened his mouth, wanting to share the truth gnawing at him, but the words stuck. Instead, he merely shrugged, unwilling to burden them with his fears. He felt like he was on the brink, caught between what he wanted to achieve and the shadows that tried to pull him back. But before he could dive deeper into despair, an unexpected voice broke through the banter. Charlie. You did great out there. Maybe next time I'll catch the pass. It was Derek again, weaving through the crowd. This time, the hurtful smirk was gone, replaced with something Charlie couldn't quite read. Was it genuine? Or was it all part of the game? Intrigued and cautious, Charlie lifted his head. Maybe he started, and as the words left his mouth, something inside him stirred. Would this moment define him? Could he rewrite the narrative that Derek had placed upon him all those years ago? As he contemplated this turn of events, the air around him thickened with anticipation. With each passing second, Charlie could feel the weight and significance of the moment. What would Derek's next words do to the fragile balance of his newfound confidence? Charlie forked a piece of his burger, staring at Derek, unsure and anxious to know. The moment hung delicately in the air, a fragile thread weaving between past and present. Charlie's heart pounded as he searched Derek's eyes, searching for sincerity beneath the layers of old animosity. The crowd buzzed around them, the laughter and cheers fading into a hazy backdrop. Maybe you should just remember who always had your number, Derek said, and Charlie could hear the faint smirk in his voice. The lingering tension twisted in Charlie's stomach like a coiled spring. Had he been wrong to even entertain the idea of kindness? Before he could respond, Tom stepped forward, sensing the shift. Derek, he's moved on. We're all trying to be better people. Maybe you should too. His tone was calm but firm, cutting through the remnants of unease. Derek blinked, momentarily caught off guard. I'm just saying things seem different now, he replied, shrugging with a half-hearted smile. But that flicker of vulnerability, whatever it was, made Charlie reconsider. Charlie took a deep breath, allowing the voices in the back of his mind to take a step back. Yeah, things are different. I'm not who I was back then, and neither are you. The words felt powerful, lifting from his chest as he reclaimed the narrative of his journey. Derek's brow furrowed, and for a fleeting moment, Charlie thought he saw recognition in his eyes. Maybe they could build something new for both of them. Sure, that's cool, Derek muttered, turning on his heel and walking away, but there was a hint of respect etched into his departing smile. As the weight lifted from Charlie's shoulders, he felt like he could finally breathe again. Lisa caught his eye, and her face lit up with pride. That was brave, Charlie. Her voice was soft yet proud, a ripple of warmth spreading through him. You think so? He replied, unsure yet hopeful. I know so, she affirmed, gripping his hand tightly. I used to worry about you finding your voice, but it looks like you've got it now. You spoke your truth. Tom nodded in agreement, pride shining in his gaze. You're growing into this amazing person, and this is just the beginning. You faced him and came out stronger. For a moment, Charlie reveled in the reassurance that washed over him. The doubt that once clouded his mind began to clear, the joy of the game now anchored in a deeper understanding of who he was. Later that evening, back at home, the warmth from the day's events lingered in the air. Pizza boxes littered the table, and laughter filled the living room as they recounted moments from the game. Charlie's heart felt full, radiant with the genuine connection he had begun to forge with Tom, tempered by the reinforced bond with Lisa. As they cleaned up together, Charlie glanced at Tom, caught up in the whirl of everyday life. "What's next for us?" he ventured, curiosity bubbling beneath the surface. Tom tilted his head, the determination etched across his face. "Well, how about we make attending your games a regular thing? I'd love to see you shine on that field, every chance we get." Charlie's smile widened, taking in the promise of renewed involvement, a father finally choosing to embrace the family he had lost. "Yeah." He beamed, excitement lighting his features, "and you could help me with practice. I could use all the help I can get." Tom grinned back, their bond strengthening with each beat of shared laughter and hope. "Absolutely. I'll do my best to keep up with you. It'll be our thing." Charlie turned to Lisa, her smile full of warmth, feeling like the threads of their lives were stitching together in bright, unexpected ways. "What do you think, Mom?" "I think it's time for us to embrace new adventures, together." Tears prickled at the corners of her eyes, tears of joy this time. "I just want you both to take care of each other," she added, and as they all gathered close, each of them clasping hands, Charlie felt the power of their new beginning resonate deep within him. Outside, the sky turned vivid shades of pink and orange as the sun dipped beyond the horizon. Hope surged through Charlie like the fresh breeze that danced through his hair. The laughter of his small family echoed in the air, and he realized that he wasn't just stepping into the dawn of a possible future, he was standing amidst the glow he had longed for, a light ignited by truth, love, and the courage to embrace change. As they sat together, talking and dreaming, their laughter mixed with the evening air, creating a warmth that felt indelible. This was transformation, a heart that had finally begun to mend, stories yet to be told, and endless possibilities just on the horizon. Charlie felt grateful, filled with excitement over the journey ahead. He was ready, stronger and faster than ever, knowing that whatever storms may come, together they would weather them all. And just like that, the evening air thrummed with potential, a life redefined by connections, love, and a future ripe with promise. And now, if you felt every bit of joy in this finale, you have to act. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next chapter in this incredible journey. Don't let others miss out. Leave a like right now to show your support, it absolutely matters. Share your thoughts, comment below about how you feel about Charlie's journey and what you think will happen next. And friends, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to shine bright. Don't wait not even one more second to join this family of supporters. Your voice counts, and together we can light up this narrative for everyone.